Hi, everybody. My name is Oleg. I'm joined today by a bunch of excellent individuals. And if you guys don't mind, I would like you guys to introduce yourselves, just in several words. And then we proceed to deconstructions. Yeah, just whoever wants to go first.
Oh, okay. I'm the first one. My name is Slava. Hi, I'm from Wargaming. I'm still a bit high from lunch joint, so probably my mind will be out there, but I will do my best to stay focused on the subject. So anyway, I work as a researcher in the Wargaming, and we do not really develop games, but I personally and my whole department, we create tools that help make games. So I'm more than 10 years in game design overall, so probably I've got some expertise to do that.
Thank you.
Right. Hello, everyone. My name is Lamoen. I am a product owner / game designer at Chimpworks. I'm mostly responsible for game strategies, monetization strategies, feature design, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, and I'm very curious as to what the other people have to say about the games, so I'm looking forward to it.
Hello, everyone. I'm Bowie Derwart. I'm Chief Design Officer at Gamebasics. We create a nice game called OSM. It's quite well known, and I've been at the company for over 15 years now.
Thank you. So we have 4 games we're going to be talking about today. The first one is Dark Chess. It's a chess with a fog of war feature. Then there is Zell, which you'll see where you have to navigate a boat, but also there's gunplay involved. And then there's Race, which is an abbreviation for Rockets, Arena, Car, Extreme, and that's such a cool name for a game. And finally, there's Godlike Burger. So we'll have a break between the 2 games, right? So there'll be a first session where we discuss the 2 games, then we pause for a short break, and then come back to discuss the remaining 2. So if you gentlemen are ready to deconstruct, and you guys are hopefully ready to be deconstructioned, even if there is no such verb per se. So let's proceed to the first one, Dark Chess then. So Slava, I'll let you begin then. A couple of words. So developer is Toltrol Games, based in Estonia, and well, that's pretty much everything you need to know as of this moment. Before we proceed to the deconstruction, let's watch a short video made by the developers about the team.
We are Toltrol Games from Tallinn, Estonia. We started making games 3 years ago, even though we started playing games 30 years ago. And only then we decided that, hey, we can actually make the games ourselves. So after that, we gathered 6 people who were sharing our passion and started doing games that we like.
At our studio, we always think about the quality first. What we want to prove to ourselves and we want to prove to the world is that you don't have to be a big AAA studio to make a nice quality content. That's why we are spending a lot of time polishing our art, polishing our screens, every small and tiny detail, until we are very satisfied with the screen. Only then we proceed to the next one. And that's what we do, because we're very passionate in what we do and we love it. Dark Chess is a dream come true. Our main plan is to make a modern chess that is fun and accessible to all ages in the modern world. We have plans to release it later this year on the maximum amount of platforms.
Okay, thank you. What a fantastic piece of cinema. So Slava, yeah, as I said, why don't you begin, and we'll hopefully have some gameplay on, so that you guys can also see what kind of games we're talking about. And the audience, just keep in mind that you will also have the opportunity to vote for the game that you like, so your votes will matter, so pay close attention.
Okay, since I'm the first one, I guess I'll have to explain what the game is about, because it's not in the video and you didn't do that. So Dark Chess is basically a chess with a fog of war that does not allow you to see the, let's say, the highest part of the chessboard. It gives some interesting strategies to think of, and it's a really good feature, but it's not a core feature. It's just a kind of gimmick. You can play it for like 5 games and you're like discovered it all, how to fight this fog of war. So probably the game needs to be more varied, more variations of Fog of War, maybe puzzles like chess puzzles, although they soon will be already uncovered by other people, so the solution will be out there in time, and it just will be not that fun to play. So I guess maybe just make dark chess is just one of the several modes at all. Like you can make chess on a, like we had a discussion, round board, for example, or something else to think of. So that's my opinion on the core gameplay. Can you tell? Should I tell about the game in a whole, or are we discussing like separate parts, like game design, art, and stuff like that?
Yeah, just go ahead and talk about the game design if you want to, and then we could at the end discuss it together.
So for meta game, there's almost nothing in there. There is some kind of ranking which I couldn't understand if I'm even participating in. There are tournaments which are locked again. So many promising features, but although aside from I think achievements, I didn't discover anything worthy of retention to the game. I mean in the meta game. For example, if I wouldn't like core but would be able to play to earn something for meta, to make some wide meta game, like I don't know, building a castle or something like that, it would be probably more fun. As for monetization, I haven't seen any, so but I'm guessing that there are several options for free to play. I don't know which ones. It just takes a separate session to think of. But I'll try to help Evgeny with this one, personally.
Okay, thank you. So can you guys have the presentation back? Yeah. So let's proceed to the score that you, Slava, gave. And here we are supposed to have like a dramatic drum roll. Are you ready? Are you ready for the score?
Too late.
Let's see. Okay, 5 out of 10. That's something. Okay. So let's proceed. And Jan, the floor is yours. And why don't you grab a clicker? Yeah, you're in control now.
Oh boy.
Yep.
No, that's the wrong way. Give me a sec.
Yeah.
I'm almost in control.
Yeah.
All right. So I played chess as well. The first thing I noticed is that you have beautiful art, but I'll leave that up to the expert that's about that. But the one thing that really stood out to me when I started up dark chess was that there was no onboarding at all. The reason I want to address this is because I think there's already so much in the game. There's a lot of modes, there's a lot of different things you can do.
We definitely played different versions of the game.
Well, there are specific modes, like there's the magic mode, there's the dark chess mode, there's a classic mode, there's a PvP pass and play. There's a lot of stuff, and I feel like the onboarding should be already there, because there are so many moments in the moment I started up the game that I could get lost in a menu, that it would be possible to just lose a player because of that. However, when I got into the game, here I think I also do not agree with you, because I actually felt like the main mechanic of the Fog of War was hampering the game. And someone told me actually that dark chess exists as a variant on chess.
That was me, yeah,
yes.
thanks.
And I didn't know that, but for me as a casual chess player, I had a lot of frustration with it, because I didn't know what was going to happen, and I was at the edge of the fog, and I would just die and get frustrated to a point where I would venture out with my king and try to find the other king in a certain way. In addition to that, though, I think that regarding the input that you have on the device is very on point, and this might sound like something very minor, but it's hard for smaller devices sometimes to really get the correct unit selected, and you don't suffer from that at all. So you really nailed that. I also think that your AI, I played on easy because I don't do chess very well, but I also think that your AI is also pretty nice. Like, I had a nice little challenge and still won in the end for an easy AI, and I think that really stood out. However, I do feel like this main mechanic is kind of more in the way of the game than rooting for it, especially if I see that it's meant to become a very competitive chess game, where there is probably a niche within the niche that likes dark chess, where chess is already a niche, and then there's the niche that likes dark chess, and the people that don't really like that might be shunned away by this mechanic. I was also really hoping for the puzzles. Because I do think that this mechanic can work very well with puzzles. You know, you have the fog of war, you're trying to uncover the board, there are holes in the board or something. I don't know, you can do a lot of funky stuff with it. So I was really looking forward to that. I also think that the single player experience will benefit a lot from it. But then again, you are also focused on the PvP. So somewhere, something's got to give the game a bit more focus, to get it in testing, to see what users do with it, to get an onboarding in there, and to really see if there is a market for this somewhere. One thing I also want to touch on is the pass and play mode. It's a minor addition, but it worked very well. I just really like the idea of being able to just bring chess with me anywhere. You know, if I am a chess player, I probably know more people that want to play chess, and because of that, it would be nice to just have a chess in my pocket at all times. I also dabbled in the magic mode. There I also have found a lot of opportunities of things that could be cool, but it didn't shine yet. And again, I think this just has to do with there's so many different aspects in the game already that it's lacking a bit of focus here and there. One of the things that really need to happen in here is more feedback. I press an ability, I have no name of the ability, I have no idea what I have selected, I just don't know what's happening. And I think that if the input becomes a drag and drop, it also immediately becomes a lot better, because I can drag an ability into the field, I see which tiles light up, and I have more feedback about what's going to happen. And this is something you're going to struggle with when you're doing multi-platform stuff, because from a PC perspective, this will be very different than from a mobile perspective. Yeah, in the end, shall we drum roll?
Or just, you know, pause for some suspense and go
in
ahead.
the end, I gave the game a 4 out of 10. I want to add to this that I do think that if you find a focus and find your niche and find a way to monetize on that, there is an opportunity here. But right now, to me, it's lacking focus and you know, the monetization strategy in general. So there wasn't enough for me to go on to give it higher than this.
Okay, thank you.
All right, that's me. Yeah, well, the visual aspect, I don't think you have to be an expert to see that this game looks very nice. The visual aspect is well done. It's one of the USPs, I guess, of this game, that you immediately see it's a different look and feel than a normal chess game. I looked up what kind of chess games are in the stores on mobile right now, and most of them are pretty dull, pretty grayish, pretty simple. So this is really, it stands out from a visual perspective. And what I liked is the way you made the fog of war, the tiles, how they lit up, nice colors. It's all very clear. The surroundings are nice, the colors are nice. So general look and feel is just well done. This is just another example of the surroundings. And as I understood, the mobile version is smaller, so that you don't see the surroundings. And maybe it's more visual with the other page than the surroundings on PC might distract player a little bit. You don't have a lot of space for your board. Ideal would be if you had the characters on the side of the board and not underneath. But if you look at the mobile version, then it's logical because the sides are cut off. So then it works better. Also here, you can see the magic mode, the tile, it all animates very nicely, as the fog of war also animates in a nice way. I just wanted to show and point out that the detail, as you mentioned in your video earlier, you can see in the visual aspect that you focus on the visual aspect a lot. So
This is the PC version, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Because this didn't happen on the mobile version, so that might be a bug then, because I had no feedback that looked like this whatsoever.
Oh, right.
Was it when you hovered the mouse over the screen? Or
I don't know. I think I have taken this screenshot from the video.
Okay.
I think, yeah. This is the versus screen. One of the first screens you'll see if you play the game when you go into battle with someone else. And I was a bit confused because I heard a nice guitar on the back, very easy, and I saw fire in the middle, So, and also it's a very, there's a lot going on in the back. I would say make it more simple, more clean, and yeah, make the music and the visuals all fit together well. And it was a bit yeah, different angles. So I was a bit confused. What kind of game am I going to play? Here's also a thing I noticed when you look into detail of the graphics. Some of the pieces, they overlap a little bit. And you can see the pieces here. They look very nice. They're clean 3D models. But sometimes they overlap, especially the queen and the king. It might be hard to see if you're, especially on mobile. It can be a problem. Then maybe a nasty one, but inspiration. I'm all for getting inspiration from other games. But here, I think, for my taste, it's just a little bit too much inspired by Clash Royale, having the same kind of king, having the same kind of emblem with the crown inside. So I thought maybe it should also, the name should be Chess Royale. Then you're all there, but it's just a little bit too much. Yeah, one thing that could be improved, because in general the game looked very nice, but when I saw this screen, it's at the end of the battle. You want to have the feeling that you really did well, that you've won or that you lost, and to really enforce and strengthen the emotion, it would be nice if it would really be a strong visual as well. And if I compare it to the other pages in your game, then this one might need some polish. So let's the drum roll. 9 out of 10.
That makes you good cop, right? Out of the
I'm the
three.
good cop. Yeah, yeah.
Nice, nice.
Yeah.
I think I might need that back. Right, I'm back in control. Okay. And so just to remind you guys that the studio responsible for the game is Torik Games. And so before we roll out the overall review, anything at all you would like to discuss or say? Echo maybe something?
Well, I'm very curious about the target group.
Yeah.
Because, as you point out, chess is already a niche, and a dark chess. I didn't knew before. I have to be honest. A colleague of mine pointed out that dark chess is already a game mode that exists. But my first thought, well, I don't think dark chess is a good name for the game because it's not really dark. it's quite a casual, quite casual look, a bit of Hearthstone kind of look. So I thought dark chess isn't the right name for it, but then dark chess became was already a game mode. So it's as you point out, it's the core of the game now, and I don't think it's a good core to use.
Yeah, so my initial stance on it is also that people that actually play chess pretty hardcore seem to play chess 3 turns ahead of time, and they just seem to be lacking information now. Like if half of the field is gone, it's an extra challenge, of course, so it opens the door for casual players. But the big issue I had with that was that me as a casual player just got very frustrated because I just didn't know what happened. However, about the name, I think that having chess in there right now is actually very smart because the auto chess hype is growing, and you know it's definitely something you can jump on board on. So keeping chess in the name is actually, I think, a good solution. Dark chess itself, you know, is a decent name, and maybe with like a sub name to it, dark chess, ultimate, PvP, RPG, I don't know. But you know, just get the buzzwords in there to give a boost to UA. I think the name can work. Personally.
Yeah, I'm I'm curious about people if they see dark chess, what they believe the game will be. Are you targeting people who already know the concept? Then it's a very good name. Are you targeting a casual audience, a very broad audience? Then maybe chess is good to have in the name. I agree, but maybe dark chess, I don't know.
Well, we can ask developers like in a minute. Slava, anything at all to add?
Yeah, well, I was thinking on Jan's words, And I think that probably modes is still a good way to go for this chess game. I'm not going to call it dark chess because really it's just a chess game. So if you make it a casual chess game, like if you take out the mundanity of the chess match, for example, I don't know how, just guessing. Maybe you can limit the amount of turns, or you can focus on specific tasks to complete that will not involve the whole match to play. That's the reason people don't really like auto chess. Well, they play a bit, then they drop it because it's too long. Yeah. And but by casual, probably you will come to a point where you would think that chess isn't even a proper name for your game. So you will have to switch it. You can leave the dark chess ultimate PvP battle, no problem here. But still probably you'll have to try to get your user acquisition for more popular words because they will work. Because people probably will not see the chess in your game, but they will see simple or not very simple puzzles they can solve on their own and waste no more than 5 minutes per each.
I think also if the goal becomes more getting casual players into chess, there's also a lot of opportunities, right? Like with the puzzles, you can slowly build up the chessboard, start with pawns, then introduce, I don't know, towers, then horses, just slowly, gradually get it in there. But if all of that would work and pan out, then I'm still super curious and actually would like to know in a minute or so what the monetization strategy is going to be. Because if you're going to be a very PvP-focused game, how are you going to monetize an existing framework like chess and try to avoid the big pay-to-win aspect, so to say? Because you have an ELO system and everything in there, you're really targeting a very hardcore PvP mode, so to say.
There might be a chance to insert a narrative into the game, because I see a lot of characters, I see a lot of nice graphics, but I don't see really a storyline or a narrative or anything else. So maybe there's a chance to use that to also drive the monetization. I don't know.
Okay, so let's see the overall score then. 18 out of 30. Okay. And now, guys, what is happening right now is that a QR code will appear on the screen, and that's an opportunity for you to scan it, and then you will have the option, to vote for the game, or maybe just, to take a pass if you did not like it enough. And that's when actually we would like maybe to give a word to the developers so that you could avenge yourselves, explain yourselves, or otherwise express yourselves. So let's get that ball rolling. You guys just start you could come over, if you want to, just a little bit closer. And could we just get a mic to the developers, please? Right, anybody? The mic, guys? Please?
Yeah, and by the way, we heard that we were the most critical panel that was up here up until now, so please
yeah,
bear with us.
congratulations, everybody.
It's a Dutch tradition.
Yeah.
Oops.
Hi. All right. We found All right. It's
So
working.
you prepare the speech.
Yeah.
No, I haven't prepared the speech because I was listening to what you say, and thank you all for your opinions. Thank you for your words. It was a lot of interesting things that you said. What I can tell you that a lot of things that you actually said, this is something that we have for the plan to do, something already actually in the game. And it was a bit of our mistake, because when we gave you the build, it was the old one. And the new one came out something like 2 or 3 days ago. For example, for Jan, the tutorial, exactly as you said, it's already in the game.
Great.
Because, yeah, we do understand that you have to prepare the person who will be playing the game, that he first have to understand what is happening in the game at all. As for putting some metagame into that, there is a big question if we should do that or not. We had the ideas, we had the discussion about it. The question is that we are breaking the game. Even though dark chess, as it is a variant of the chess, it exists, it works, it plays, but it goes a little bit to the niche, as Bowie said, that it is a niche after a niche. Even though the chess niche is quite big, there is a lot of people who play chess in real life, who play chess on other platforms. There's a big number of that. And we do understand that we are not getting 100% of that audience. We will definitely get only a piece of that. Still, we're quite interested in trying that out and finding the right audience for us who will be
doing that. So, for example, we want, of course, to do the PvP battle for the game. Although we don't put it on a close as a solo play. For example, puzzles are already in the game, like they are supposed to be there and they will be there. Because yeah, we do understand that this is also a selling point, which is quite hard for us to do, is to find the right monetization point for that. Because we do understand that people do choose, are they playing the game with the casual game, the mid-core games, and the monetization system there are. They choose the game if they want to play it, if they have the metagame inside, or they just want to play the chess game as mostly, for example, the biggest player on the market is using the subscription model here. So we were looking on that, and we will try to achieve if we will be able to improve it, to implant it into our game, or if it's not working, and we are going to test it, and we're going to make the soft launch to see if it's happening, if it's not happening. And the idea was, yes, it looks very much for the casual players, and we want to give the chess something, maybe a new view, like Bowie said once again, that most of the games on the market, they looked dull, they looked very awful, not pretty, nothing. And we want to change that and try to make something beautiful and to make people play chess once more. So this is why we have different modes in the game. As for the chess royale, actually, this was one of the ideas to make it as a mode, as a variant in the game, to actually make some sort of a chess battle royale. Like, I mean, there is an idea, and we will be doing that at some point later on, because I do agree that maybe we don't have one specific focus, because we want to implement so much into the game, to give so much players to have to do in the game, that maybe we need to do something like focus on one thing, start from that, and then bit by bit add it as a content, as an additional modification of the game, so that they will be playing it and having some more time to do with the game, something like that. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
We're gonna have to be wrapping up on this one and proceed to the next game, which is Zel. And as Jan kindly explained to me, Zel in Dutch means sail. And the game is basically about a ship that you control, or a boat. And there is wind physics that you have to struggle with a little bit, and there are other ships that you have to shoot at. And there is also an island that I think is called Lesbian Island or something. So there are slides for this one, right? As far as I understand. So why don't you grab this?
Okay. So I guess no gameplay video, no developer video?
Yeah, unfortunately, no, I don't think so. Was that? Oh, yeah, sure. There will be, just push the button. Yes, a video, of course.
Keypoint Studios is the name under which we develop our games. We started a little less than a year ago when our game Zel came to be.
I've been making levels for games ever since I was a kid, and almost for every game I could get my hands on. For now, for about 3 years, I've been starting to make games professionally.
I've been making games for about 11 years now, and although I enjoy multiple aspects of game creation, right now I'm specializing as a technical designer.
Tom and I met each other at the Breda University of Applied Sciences, studying game design. We've been working together ever since. We both have a background in graphic design, which connects us and sets the basis for our game creation.
After hours, we work together on our own personal projects outside of university, and this is how Zel came to be. Where most of our work gets done is at our homes.
All in all, our projects are created in a lot of different locations, which makes us very flexible, which is something we also really like about working together.
With Zel, we made our first commercial product, but for now, we are really excited to be here, and this is a great next step in our game development career.
All right, well, that's all. Thanks for listening, and we hope to see you around.
An amazing introductory video, right? I mean, it deserves like a special prize for.
Yeah, it's very professional.
Yeah, very, very much so.
I wonder
yes.
where the name comes from, though. Nice save. Good.
So yeah, over to Slava then.
Okay, thank you. So yeah, when I started playing this game, my first association was kind of a journey, you know, the PS journey game. But then I realized it's just the art style, not anything else. And I started playing it. Well, I must say it's quite minimalistic in many ways. It's minimalistic in visual style. It's minimalistic in the interface, as you can see. It's minimalistic in details and even narrative. So I start the game and I can't even understand where I am, what I am, who I am. Probably it's just the build, but this death pop up I saw so many times. It's really boring.
Yes.
So if the game, well, when I played a bit, I understood that it's the game world worthy exploring. So I started exploring. I discovered there are other ships that I have to fight and other ships that I can trade with. So it reminded me of the Sid Meier's Pirates, for example, or Raquel's Corsairs series, or even Assassin's Creed Black Flag. So yeah, it's a sea survival simulator. And you have to survive because the controls are hard, to say the least. It's not easy to turn it against the wind. Well, it's understandable, but it's really annoying. And especially it's hard to fire into other ship because it fires strictly in the level of 90 degrees, and you cannot see even the arrow that would show you where exactly your projectile will fly. It's really annoying as well. So that's why I saw this message so many times. As for narrative, yeah, nothing is explained, and it's a bit frustrating because I'm expecting to get into the world, and instead I have to connect different unconnected things, like what the ships talk about, or why I have to find a goddess and bring her some goods or something. It's not explained, and it's annoying. Well, yeah, I use it too often. Sorry. We're already at overall review?
I guess so.
Because I only
Oh,
had
no, that should be, is this correct? Is this, should be, yeah, I guess so, yeah.
Okay,
Let's-
so I'll give the word to others first, right?
No, that's your overall review,
oh,
yeah. 3 out of 10,
Yeah.
that's intense,
I
okay.
didn't understand
right.
the game, sorry.
Right, because that was annoying. Right. Okay, Jan, so why don't you
All
take
right.
over?
So
Thanks.
this is going to be interesting. So yeah, I kind of had the same experience at first, where I really expected a very chill game. I was expecting a light narrative game, this kind of indie title that's, you know, going to give me some problem to solve while selling spices or something like that. But I was greeted by a very hardcore arcade game. And I think it's not bad, but just setting a user expectation is super important, because when players will see your minimalistic art style, when players will see your menu, they will have an expectation, and if it doesn't fulfill that expectation, they're gonna be away. So this can just destroy your retention without players even giving the game a chance. When I started giving the game a chance, however, I actually saw a lot of potential. I think that the idea of having this level-based progression with small goals to achieve gives you this kind of short, medium, long-term goal that you want to work towards. And then there's an incremental mechanic to it as well, where you can gather coins and upgrade your ship. So you kind of know, I'm going to go through levels, and I'm going to gather coins, upgrade my ship, and I'm going to get better, better, better. Which reminded me a lot of just a hyper-casual arcade game, which is not a bad thing. The only thing that sits in the way of this is the narrative, which, in my opinion, is probably the first thing that should go, because the game's identity and the core systems is something completely different. These core systems, however, are a bit on the annoying side, I have to agree. Because what happens is, if you play the game, you have to drag your finger across the screen, and then the moment you let go, the wind starts blowing in that direction, and then when the wind starts blowing in that direction, your ship slowly starts turning. So that whole sequence takes, say, 1.5 seconds before you actually start doing a slow turn. If that is minimalized, where the controls become a bit more direct, or the controls become a bit more tight, suddenly the game will feel a lot better. Another aspect of it is the shooting, which I also agree with is very annoying. I shot way too many times, I missed, or I did it on accident because I pressed my finger on the screen and I shot, and then there's the cooldown, and then I died, and then I died, and then I died, and that became the loop, kinda, which was a shame, because I think that if the shooting would be automatic, if any ship is near the ship on any side, you can just have a very fun game because you're going to focus completely on the controls. You're going to make them as tight as possible, and you're going to just shoot down ships and gather coins. Because right now I can do this amazing long shot that I screenshotted and shot at the same time. I just want to put it out there. But I kill that ship, and then I have to interact with the controls again to get the coin. So for an epic long shot like this, I get punishment instead of reward, because I have to like drag across the screen and go around and get the coin. And I also saw this screen bot load. It's really a shame. The balance is off. I couldn't get past World 2. I'm just a bad gamer as well. I tried it 13 to 15 times, I have to say, while being ashamed. But I did already see a glimpse of a monetization strategy in terms of ads. However, your revive is very unvaluable, because a lot of times I would die by ships, and it would just linger around my corpse. I would come back and immediately die again. So I did that 2 times, and then I never touched that button again, because I gave you 30 seconds of my life, and I got 2 seconds of gameplay. So it's super important that this is super high value, because you want players to get that offer they can't refuse. Like, I'm almost there. I wanna get to level 3, because I'm a bad gamer, for example, but then the revive has to have that value. There's also aspects of the game that I just didn't get to because of this, and I also feel like they might be just unnecessary. The whole trader mechanic, there's probably something very cool in there, but if it's a very tight, hyper-casual arcade game, it's not needed. And I really think that there is an opportunity in this to steer it in that direction, where it can be monetized and played by a lot of players if the tweaking goes right, if the balancing is on point and the controls are on point. So with all that being said, I'll drumroll. I gave the game a 6 out of 10. So I think there is something there, but it needs quite a bit of work, and it needs identity. Screw the narrative. Just
screw the narrative. Nice takeout.
Okay, well, just like the other two, I started up the game, saw the title, Ziel. Of course, I'm Dutch, so I know what it means. I saw the sailing boat, I had some waves in the back, and I started to get relaxed. And I thought, okay, this is going to be a meditation game or a puzzle game or maybe explore something. So I pressed play. And then I saw something I like, because you have very clear goals. You see 3 objectives to get. Nice. So I thought, well, I have to read it quick, but it's okay. I'm going to sail away and explore and puzzle and meditate something. But then I was on the ceiling of my house, because the first cannon went off. And it wasn't the sound design wasn't really polished, and it was quite hard. So I think there I was getting something, as Jan mentioned earlier, something completely different than I expected to get, and that's not a good experience. So from a visual perspective, this game looks really nice. I think there's an audience for this kind of games that they see in the App Store and immediately say, well, this is a game for me, I'm going to download, but the game mechanics don't match up with the expectation. So that's something I noticed. Yeah, this is the explosion you get. Also, everything is minimalistic, as Slava said, and also the explosions. I think you need to make a choice which direction the game will go. So if it's shooting up other ships, make the shooting more visual, even more than it is now, and make the game like that. But all the other visual aspects are more pointing in the direction of making an easy, laid-back, exploring game. Yeah, I cannot read it, so that's I think a problem, something that can be improved. The pop-ups, you get them a lot, and the fonts are just too tiny for me. I'm 37, but still. Yeah, same goes for the other UI elements. Minimalistic is cool sometimes, but these elements, the top corner, you see your life So if the red circle is completely filled, then you are dead. And the other thing at your boat, which I zoomed in a little bit, is your cooldown. I didn't get that until I played a few sessions, and then I was still using my magnifying glass to exactly see what it meant. So make those things more clear. General overview. Drum roll. 6 out of 10. And it would be much higher if the game design fit the visual aspect.
Thank you, Bowie. We're going to have to rush things up a little bit, and let's proceed to the voting part, okay? And you guys, you can just say a few words back. So the overall review is, the overall score is 15 out of 30, and you guys can start voting for the game.
Do we have to say anything now?
Yeah, you can. Now would be the good time.
Just before the voting, yeah.
Yeah, I think the main thing is that it's just far from finished yet. Especially the onboarding needs a lot of work because people do not understand the game right away, which was, of course, your problem as well.
It's your problem, guys.
That's true, that's true. But we got a lot of feedback on that here as well, and I think we learned a lot. We also have to see how we're going to monetize it, or if it's even going to be free to play.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay.
Cool, so I hope that was valuable. Thank you, guys. Now we make a break, as far as I understand, right? And
can I slip in one question? Is that possible? Do you have time for that? I'm actually curious. With an art style like this, do you think that there's room in hyper casual for this kind of minimalistic indie style, or do you think it will be very hard to get it to market?
Well, I don't think the art style is a problem. I think the type of game and expectation that you get when you see the first images of the game, and the minimalistic art style is suitable for hyper casual.
I guess it can be fixed actually if you put the main menu in the scene where there are several ships fighting each other. The player will instantly recognize it's an action game, so he will be prepared that it just looks like a journey or a low poly hyper casual or whatever. He will understand already that it's an action game, so he can make his decision right away.
Yeah, but understand and being successful with your game when it all fits together, and that's a different thing. So maybe it's possible, but it's a question if it will be successful.
All right, cool.
Yeah, welcome back, everybody. So we are to deconstruct 2 more games. The next one up is called Race, which is a word, but it's also an abbreviation and it stands for, I forgot what it stands for, Rocket Arena Car Extreme, which is just 4 unconnected but very cool words. So the guys know something about the art of name giving. The developer is called Smokoko, if I'm pronouncing this correctly, and the country is Ukraine. And obviously it's a racing game, and the task is to, of course, outspeed other vehicles, but also to destroy them using missiles. So that's a lot of fun. So let's just watch the introductory video from the developers.
Special for the White Nights conference. Hi guys, I'm Alex from Smokoko Games. We signed in 2010 in Ukraine, Rivne city. We are focusing on uphill racing games. We have more than 20 unique titles, such as Carrots Car, Dead Paradise, Mad Truck Challenge, Spy Car, Rich Car, a lot of them. All our stuff, and this one, all this one. Oh, sorry, not stuff. Our friends and colleagues working in our comfortable office. We are a product company with a full cycle developing and publishing. And we are working, with pleasure. What about race? RACE, Rocket Arena Car Extreme. In this game, we are trying to do new core gameplay with a lot of emotion, such as oops, I, woo, gee, you, for us and for our players. We want to win a big prize. We are ready. And you?
Are you guys?
I think that deserves an award as well.
Yeah, definitely. So, Slava, let's start with you. I think we have some gameplay for this one, and we also are very privileged to have actually one of the developers play the game right now. So, let's see where that brings us.
Okay, so as you already understand, it's a car game. It's racing with the action elements, such as missiles, shooting, and there is an upgrade for a nitro speed up. At first, the game was fun, and it still is actually. I have played maybe 20 races, and it still felt fun. But at some point, I started to see forward, and I guess there will be problems in the core gameplay because it's very basic. It's not as complex, for example, as Mario Kart. But guess it aims for a simplicity, but too simple is too boring. Sorry for that word again. And all you have to do is just being forward before everyone else and shoot in case if you're behind, and that's it. So that's as much as you can do. Well, you can take shortcuts, but it's just if you know it, you will use it, and that's it. So there's not much of exploration either.
Was there something that annoyed you?
Not much. Maybe overall feeling that in the end it will be a grind racing game where you have to ride through the same road again and again until you gather enough soft currency to progress forward. At least that's the feeling I got from the game after some time. So yeah, in the end it will be annoying anyway. And as you can see, the race cannot be over yet. I just wanted to talk about the interface. Maybe Jan has something to say meantime?
Yeah. I can add a bit to this, where I do feel like the game has a very strong identity. I think it was the strongest identity of all games that we've seen so far. It's a racing game. It does that very well. It has a very good core mechanic, as you say. Even for me, not a race game fan, I could play it, use it, and have fun with it initially. I'll pass it back to you for the UI.
So for UI, a lot of obscurity about the options, and when I started the game, the first thing my attention was tied to was the shop icon, and of course I clicked it, and I realized that's a real shop, like for real money transactions, and I'm like, I just started the game. Why would my attention be tied to this? It's distracting. It's really not in the place at the moment. I guess tutorial would be more proper for this stage. So there was a short tutorial that taught me buttons, and that was pretty much it. I would expect, as I said, the game turned out to be simple, but I expected different small tutorial races with different aspects to show. So this race is about turning and using nitro when you're in a straight line. This aspect is about shooting at the right time at your opponents and things like that. All I got is a simple tutorial that didn't give me the depth of the game. That's when I understood it's a simple game. It's not as complex as I expected looking at the screenshots. Yeah, there is this menu with a star. I guess it's about the experience points or something, because there is a level and there are XP rewards after each race. And they are hard-coded, which means you cannot neither skip this experience point milestone, and you cannot go any other way. So you will be, this rank will be exactly where you are. So there's no variations about it. So why have rank? I still have no idea. There are some upgrades unlocked as you level up, but they are only needed to progress through the story further. And speaking of the story, there ain't much either. So the narrative was like, okay, I have to guess on my own why these cars are racing around, shooting each other. As for monetization, well, it's obviously if the game is about to grind over and over again, there are options to how to say it, to shorten the time you need to grind. It's quite common in these kind of games, so I was a bit disappointed because I was expecting something else, something that would feel fair. Because the biggest problem is the content. Not many tracks, so I will get bored too soon, and the game will become annoying.
And you're also, of course, wearing a Carmageddon T-shirt, so your standards about car games are pretty high.
Absolutely.
Okay, so let's see Slava's score. Ready, guys? Let's see it. Yay, yay. Okay, so we now have a tradition or something. Nice. That's pretty high. Okay, so...
As other people mentioned, it's really good quality made. So, yeah, it deserves this point.
Fair enough. Okay, over to Jan.
Yeah, so on most things, I agree. I think, as I said, the game has a strong identity. It has a nice little core gameplay. I like the onboarding mostly because it is simple and it allows for a casual audience to be introduced to a racing game, which is a highly competitive market. So you need that aspect where you can get more people into games like this. The thing I struggled with a bit was actually tied to what's been said, but it's the leveling system and kind of the reward system. So in general, I feel like the whole reward system can be streamlined through levels. So instead of having random rewards in the arcade tree here, you can just tie them to the XP that you get, and you level up. From a level up, you get a loot box. From the loot box, you get the car parts. And immediately you make sure that the player knows that loot boxes are interesting and that it's something that they want. Also, what Slava said about the tutorial, you need a shop tutorial. Lock this shop until you're level 5, and then give the player currency, let them buy a loot box, let them experience what it's like to get a purchase in the game, and then unlock the shop from then on. Then it becomes known what is the worth of hard currency, what is the worth of loot boxes, why do I want to play this game, why do I want to do this grind, and why do I want to keep playing. There is one aspect of the game that's never explained in the tutorial, and that's the ultimate. And I feel like there's a super big missed opportunity there, because these ultimates have to shine, have to be the thing that you want to use with new cars, right? Because if I have this ultimate and I press it, there should be this big explosion in the field, like lightning, Tesla coil, whatever, and I destroy all the enemies and I feel super powerful. It should also be prominent in the menus then, like this car has Tesla coil, the other car has laser cannons, this car has God knows what. And suddenly I have a need for wanting more cars, wanting new cars, wanting to feel powerful with these abilities. But the first step has to be that this should be part of your onboarding, right? Because it took me 5 races before I found the actual ultimate button.
I haven't found it yet.
Yeah, so
I haven't either. No.
and that's a shame because they're awesome, and they can be even more awesome, and they can be a reason for wanting more cars. I also have a few points about the UI, where first of all, the upgrading also needs some extra oomph. You have a nice little cutscene with stats going up, but nothing happens to my car. The stats aren't tangible enough. They're too small increments. If you're looking to get a more casual player base, you need this to be more powerful. Have milestones in there that give you a cool new look to your car, or an extra ability to unlock something in the form of that. And suddenly people will want to progress more in your game and upgrade more towards your cars.
Speaking of the visuals, I also remembered one thing I wanted to say about it. So yeah, the game has a strong identity, but the cars are really, there is no difference between one car and another. Of course, they may have different characteristics, but you can make them to participate in one race anyway. So I can see, like in Carmageddon, yeah, my favorite, there are cars with very distinctive form. And so I would like to see more, I don't know, trucks, for example, or muscle cars, or whatever. So yeah.
Also, they feel a little bit like remote control cars to me when I'm playing. It's not really like they're big cars, more like remote control.
Yeah. And one thing I do have to say on the positive side, I liked your level design quite a bit. I liked it a lot, actually. It's just going to be very hard to keep that up. Because I think, you know, designing a level like that, making it work, making all the visuals, it's going to take time. And somehow that time has to be paid back in player time. And the time you take to build a level, a player will complete it in 1/100th of that time. So I think there's really something to be found there to make this content pipeline a bit tighter and make sure that you know, you get a return on investment. Lastly, regarding the UI, please use breadcrumbing. I lost myself in this UI a lot. I press the button and the button disappears. So I have no clue where I am. You're expecting a player at that moment to just memorize your UI and know where they are. I actually got stuck in the car select screen because I thought I was gonna go to a race. But I was in the car select screen and I forgot that that thing was there. And it would be such a shame if you lose players through things like this, whereas if it would just light up where you are, a player immediately knows where they are and what they have to do to get back. And in addition to having a hard currency tutorial, then I would also have a more of an incentive to complete these challenges, because I know the worth of these golden coins, which currently I don't, because I was never explained why I would want these coins in the first place. Overall, I think your game is very good in its core, but I'm being extra critical because it's such a competitive market and you're seeming to want to go and broaden the horizon going into the casual player base. But in the end, I gave the game also a 7 out of 10.
That's actually pretty generous.
Yeah. All right. Well, first thing a player will see, I guess, is the screen to start the race. And what I liked was the amount of detail in the background. You have the camera, which is slightly moving. You have some steam in the back. There's an atmosphere created, so that's pretty good. Also, which was nice, you immediately start racing, and the race is it's understandable. For me, as a new user, I don't play a lot of race games, but I understood everything what happened inside of the race. So you have the shooting, very nicely done. You could see a cross arrow on each car you're going to hit. So I understood what to do.
Except for the ultimate.
Except for the ultimate, yeah, you're right. I thought I knew everything in the race. And everything you see in the race, like the spikes coming up, everything is clear for me. What I didn't understand was the narrative behind the whole thing, because as you see in the previous screenshots, you land in some sort of high-tech environment, and then you're going to ancient Egypt things. Both things are pretty cool, but I don't understand the connection. So I think there's a chance to add a narrative, think about it more. But then again, I don't know if race players care much about that. They want a cool race. And then I come to the next part. They want explosions, I think. And you have a lot of explosions, but I think you can even exaggerate the explosion part even more. Bigger explosions, more dust, more... for instance, if you go very fast with your car, if you use the boost, you can even make it more visual that you're going really, really fast. Because I think race fans especially like speed. So take that thing, what race people who play race games, and make it very stand out. Something I liked is the ranking up. There was a nice tune behind it. You really take the time to tell to the player you're ranked up. It felt good. I don't know exactly why, but it just felt good at the right moment with the right music behind it. Also, the ancient theme of the track combined with the some sort of hacking kind of technology game as the background tells me. I would change that maybe. This is also the career and the ranking system Jan told us about. I also didn't understand this UI. Of course, after a few rounds, you start to understand what it means, but it didn't instantly got to me. I think the first thing you should do is to clean up your UI. And I saw in the last build you uploaded, You already done a lot of polishing on the UI. I think that's necessary. If I look at the build I got 1.5 weeks ago, you're making good progress, but still think about all the information that's needed and try to remove all the things that are not needed at the moment and try to put them in another place.
And to add a little bit on this, also be careful because this really looked like a battle pass to me. And players will first recognize that and then understand that it's an arcade track or a campaign track.
Yeah. Also, as a suggestion, it would be nice to have a small map where you're traveling and each new phase and make it more like a connection with the narrative and the game and the visuals would all fit in better.
Well, actually, I don't find this advice very well because I was working on a racing game back in the old times.
Yeah.
And our first interface was really with a map. You had to scroll down the map to find the mode you want or the next career level, etc. And it turned out to be not really good for the players. So you should stick to... okay, that's now my opinion. Yeah, yeah. Okay, you should stick to this serious kind of presentation. But yes, you should definitely make it more clear. I don't understand why the rating is here, how it affects my game or whatever. I don't have to see that every previous challenge is completed. You can mark it any other way, like pushing it aside, so I can see that it's my previous ones. Also, the rewards, I still don't get the meaning of it. Okay, XP, as I said, I don't understand why it exists. Coins, okay, what's about coins? I race for the coins? Okay, so more narrative, please. So I can understand why am I participating in this exact race.
Yeah, there were two versions I saw. The right one is the new one of the controls, and the left one was the old one, I guess. And here you started to add a mini map and other things. The right one, in the top you see the position, much more clear than the left one because I didn't understand it in the previous version what my position was. So that's an improvement. But I don't think the controls, they're okay, but my advice is to keep them clean and not too much detail, not too much things. Most of the time you just don't want the controls inside of your screen. Maybe on onboarding it's important, but then the player understands and it just covers up the things that are happening. So,
yeah, I totally agree. Transparent controls are feeling better than the material ones.
That's it.
That's it, yeah.
Let's see the score.
Overall review.
Yay.
Sorry, you wanted the drum roll, right?
No, we'll skip it, you know.
Okay.
Thank you.
So we have a lucky number, 777.
Yeah.
So that's actually pretty good, right? 21 out of 30. Yeah, so the usual routine. You guys vote, and that's when the developers have the opportunity to say something.
In the similar style as the video, please.
Thank you very much for the deconstruction, guys. For your time and for your time. I really appreciate your opinion. First of all, I want to say a few words about there is no ready game to the market. It's a alpha, pre-alpha, maybe about the narrative or about the UI. We are focusing in the car because we before developed a lot of uphill racing games, and now we receive a lot of feedbacks from our players, from YouTube, from a lot of letters, and our audience want to play another one game such as this one, Bigfoot cars, but not. Гоночки. Которая ты раз играешь гоночки. Not asphalt, not Ferrari, not Lamborghini. Our audience want to play Bigfoot cars, but you said that good opinion about the speed. More accelerate and go away and jumping and a lot of emotions. That our players send for us a lot of wishes about this one. You are
Cool.
correct.
Thank you.
Correctly. Thank you very much. That's now we are try to playing. We are like it in gameplay and interfaces, etc., etc. That is technology. After that, that is only alpha, pre-alpha. Thank you very much for the good words, for the good opinions. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you for the game.
Thank you.
Did you guys vote? On to the next one then. The last game we're going to be deconstructing today is called Godlike Burger. It's some sort of cooking simulator where you play as a chef, and there is a twist because you make burgers from aliens. And to that effect, you set up all sorts of grotesque traps, or sometimes you just, switch the massacre mode on and just, go slashing through your clients. And if you guys have anything to add to the description I just came up with, feel free, or you just can do it during your segments. So let's see the introductory video.
ビルガーチーム We are a small indie studio of some people, namely, developers and each game designer. We are making games since 2014. All of us have solid experience in making games, both mobile and PC. Our team has been established in 2018. Since then we made several mobile games. And still working on our primary project, Torik Burger. Our main goal is to make people laugh and fun playing our game, and sell at least 1 million copies. Thank you.
See, alien meat. Yeah, we should definitely come up with an animation for intro videos, right? I mean, guys really got creative this time. Burger Team, the name of the developer, based in Belarus. Will we have some gameplay for this one, right? I think so. Yeah, so Slava, why don't you begin?
Okay, so I've been playing this game since some earlier builds for other conferences, and so I learned a bit about the game beforehand. I must say that the game itself has a fun, well, a bit gruesome, but still fun concept that you have to kill aliens to feed them to other aliens. And there are some obstacles to that. You have to first kill this alien, and you have to properly make it before serving to the other. Also, there are problems with the controls. Just my opinion. I have played both on gamepad and on keyboard. It felt clunky. So just killing an alien would take a bit of, I don't know, trying to aim to target at him properly to finish him. So the action part is not very good done. Although traps are good, I loved setting traps and seeing aliens getting in them. Also the narrative, I think it's the most popular word today. The narrative is out of place. So I can understand hardly why would he do this, killing aliens to feed them to others. Why is his diner so dirty and things like that. So I would imagine a story behind this, like, I don't know, his daughter was abducted by some aliens, and now he both...
Take notes, people.
He both makes his revenge and gain money to buy her out. I don't know, whatever. So the narrative should be there because it's the game is... the last time I played it was level-based. You had to earn some money before proceeding further. And you would get more knowledge about the aliens because they have their preferences. Like some aliens actually like the meat of others. And you have to make sure that you don't feed... Well, okay, I won't go into details, sorry. Still, it's fun. probably one more thing I would like to note is the mundanity of actions. I have to, okay, first I learned the sequence of actions, and then I just repeat them over and over again. I know that it's common for a dash or similar games genre, but at some point I want to make it more automatic, maybe skip some procedures, maybe like I upgrade an oven and it stops frying at the point where it's ready, something like that. I think that's pretty much my thoughts.
Thank you, Slava. So can we proceed to the presentation screen to see the score? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Right. So the overall score would be 5 out of 10. Over to Jan then.
Yes.
The
So
yeah.
I was greeted by this screen at first sight, and I like the screen, but it's very macabre. And you guys actually say in your video as well that you want more humor in there, that it has to be funny. I think you need to get that across in your marketing material, because this is, it's funny in a different way, but it's very much more violent and a bit scary. If the aliens were just eating burgers and chilling a bit, like, I think that would get the message across a bit better. It's a minor thing, but if you go further in the marketing material, it might be worth to really get the fun across.
They look like children too, right?
Yeah, it's. I didn't want to get into that, but it's a bit scary.
You said that.
I did, yes.
In general, I think your core gameplay is very fun. I actually like that there are different interactions you have to do for different actions. I was having a lot of fun toying around in the kitchen, preparing the burgers, preparing everything. The only problem was that eventually I noticed that I wasn't earning any money, and I didn't know why. So that's the moment I got into the actual over mechanic, where certain aliens, as Slava said, prefer to eat other aliens, and if they don't, you don't get the money. At first, I was incredibly overwhelmed by this, because now I had to keep track of so many things that my head started to hurt. But once I got over that hurdle, I was having a lot of fun. Like, I knew, ooh, this alien wants that alien, so I have to like kill this and strategize and make sure my pantry's full and stuff like that. The thing I want to get across is that you need to nail day 1 and day 2, because I know we played day 3, so it's already further in the game. But the onboarding has to be on point to get this across, to make sure that your players feel as smart as I did after mapping out all the sequences I had to do. So if you get that across correctly, I think it can be very fun. The only big issue I had with this was your alien generator, because I had moments where I was just waiting for a specific alien to appear and not doing anything until that happened, because I didn't have the alien in the pantry that I wanted to feed the other alien. Your traps are fun, but they're a bit of a hassle, because I have to go into a menu and I'm trying to optimize my route, right? I'm trying to get the burgers out as fast as possible according to the correct recipes, but then I have to go into a menu to kind of activate these traps. And it just is this extra hurdle that you don't need, because it gets you out of the core loop. So maybe changing the traps to something that you set up as the player yourself and that just springs automatically would really help, because then you're actually filling in some time that you have to actually be cooking the burgers with, and sacrificing that to set up a trap to get things in your pantry. Oh, all in all, I really liked the game. Like, I liked the core mechanic. I liked the amount of different things you could do. I just think that I can't judge it fully based on that, because day 1 and day 2 will be so crucial to get this feeling across to the player. I also think some of the aspects are still missing. I now saw in the playthrough that you can actually make people go to the bathroom and stuff. I thought that just wasn't programmed yet. So getting all that information across of things you can do is going to be so important to the game's success that, I had to deduct a bit of points from it in order to get there. Another last piece of advice I want to give is that you reference certain games from certain companies that really do not like that. So please be very careful with stuff like that, because copyright infringement is a thing and parody law will not protect you. So be very careful with the references you make, and I would advise to just get them out of there because they're just a big, big risk. So in the end, I gave the game a 7 out of 10.
Pretty cool, thanks.
All right. When you start off, this is the first thing you see, and also I had a problem with the onboarding because I didn't exactly knew what to do. But the first feeling you get is quite good because you see a nice kitchen, you see a cartoon shader, which works very well with the concept of the game. Because, well, a little bit, you saw it in the image, if it would be realistic graphics, then it would be quite a horror, terrifying game. So the cartoon shader is really the way to go. And just looking at the levels and the environment, I think it's well done. So the animations, the detail, you see a rat in the top right corner of the kitchen is moving around. You see some flies and all that kind of stuff, and it really brings the level to life. So that's nice. But at this moment, I didn't really know what to do, so I started to bake burgers. And also, you haven't mentioned it, but the game Overcooked really resembles this game. So I guess you guys really looked at that game as well, where you have to bake burgers. Yeah, this is the when you go outside of the game and you see the car coming in and also other cars are leaving. They are beaming away, and also the aliens are beamed in. And I think the thing that I liked was there's really a world created. You want to know more about the world. You want to know more about the characters in the world. So that was a nice aspect of the game. Well, what I liked about the trailer, because I first viewed the video, was the killing of the customers. Maybe it's dangerous to say, but it's the thing I liked. You kill your own customers and you're going to bake their meat. So that kind of humor is very fun. So I had a lot of, I really wanted to play the game. But when I played the game, I think within 2 minutes or so, the fun part was gone for me. So it's fun for the trailer, so it might work to promote the game. But early, yeah, when you are starting to play the game, it's not a very important thing to keep playing the game. It's just for the promotion. So if you look at the entire game with all the complex things the other guys already mentioned, it's a very complex game with a lot of game mechanics, a lot of elements, and combined with a fun character. I don't know if it will work in the long term, if there's an audience who likes both components. Looking at the UI, I also have another slide, I think, about the UI, but it's just a tip to guide the users into what's most important on the page. I really like the stories behind the characters, but I don't know exactly what to do here and where to look at and what's important. Maybe align the stuff. So it's more about polishing and make it next level. I think it can use a little bit more attention to align all the stuff and make the corners a little bit more nicer. So I understand it's the style of the game, but it needs a little bit more polish. Yeah, this is the example I mentioned. I have the 2 versions. I saw a video and I saw the latest build that was provided for me. The top corner is the old version, and the bottom corner, the bottom is the newer version. My guess is that you wanted to learn the players, they had to earn money, and because they didn't do it, you make the font bigger, so it's earn money now bigger. But my guess is they know they want to earn money, but they don't know how. So maybe use smaller steps, start with chop lettuce, kill a customer, small tasks. So really guide the user. And the other thing you changed is clock, analog clock towards a digital clock. I think that's a good improvement. It's much more clear, takes less space. So that's 2 times win for the UI. But also this UI can use a little bit more love and attention. You have a 3D icon, a flat icon. Can use a little bit more polish. So my overall review, 8 out of 10.
Okay, thank you.
Can I add one more thing to the UI? Is there time for that?
Sure, yeah.
Because I have this, I had a small annoyance with it where the burger recipes are read from right to left instead of left to right, which really threw me off at times. And there's another part where the burger buns, the bottom bun is on the top to select, and the top bun is on the bottom to select. And these little minor things really triggered me when I tried to optimize my strategy of maintaining this kitchen. And they're very small wins, but please fix it because it just makes the game a lot more easy to play.
Yeah, as I said, the UX is something really needs polishing.
Okay, thank you guys. And the overall score for this game would be 20 out of 30, which is pretty high. Okay, so congratulations, guys. Well, you know what to do, right? So that's where we vote for the game, and you guys, the developers, now would be your opportunity to speak up.
Hello, guys. Thank you
now
for your
the
feedback.
main character is drawn upon you, right?
No, you are mistaken. So just thank you.
No, he has the same amount of words throughout the game, so definitely you.
That was concise. Okay. So let's give the guys some time to vote.
Do you think there's a market for this?
For this,
yeah.
I think it's too complex, if you ask me. Yeah, it's too much. Yeah.
I think it's too gruesome for casual market, and at the same time it's too clunky for a mid-core hardcore market. So either you should tone down the gruesome, this brutality, and clean up all the mess that with the clunky controls and the sequence rendering. So if you make it easier to play, you will get wider audience.
Yeah, well, I thought when I was playing it, it could be more gruesome, more blood. Blood is the core of the game, and you're making a fun game. So when you chop someone, make blood all over the place, and if customers see it, they scream and run away. But then that will be the concept of the game, the fun part. Make it simple, make the core even stronger. But if you go for baking and making smart traps and stuff like that, then you're going the other way and a little bit away from the fun part.
Yeah, I kind of saw it as this in-between game. You know, there's always, hardcore players are always playing some competitive, very complex game and then want to lay back and play chill games if they, I don't know, if the girlfriend's in the room and they have to talk to her at times or something like that. At least that's how I do it. But you want these kind of casual in-between games. So they're in this limbo, right, where they have to be casual, but not too funny and not too gruesome. So I think it's a very hard market to penetrate, actually.
I think there's inconsistency between the theme and the approach, the gameplay approach, because gameplay approach feels like your normal casual puzzle game where you just solve the puzzle and in your free time and you get some limits. So it's like, I don't know, build a lot, for example, these kind of puzzles. And at the same time, it just doesn't hit with the theme because it's bloody and it's just different audience rather than the casual puzzle games. So I'm speaking of the same thing again, but I just wanted to make an accent on this.
Yeah, it's maybe two different games in.
Yeah, it's you see that the game then lacks an identity, right? Because if there's already so many different ways of interpreting it, there's something that has to either go or be strengthened in order to, you know, get a clear vision across.
Yeah. If you look at it at the positive side, they have a lot of stuff in there. And when they go playtest, they can pick out the right things that work best for the target audience they want to have.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Well, thank you guys. Hope that was valuable to you. I'm not sure what happens now, though. Yeah, right. So, as I said, we have 2 awards. One is jury's choice, and the game that scored the highest is race. So let's give a round of applause to the team. Right, and should I invite people over? Yeah, sure. Come over, people. So we have this awesome award this year with, like, it's not triple X's, it's in reference to, of course, the coat of arms of Amsterdam. Yeah, come over. So yeah, congratulations. Let's give a round of applause to the team. Поздравляю. Congrats. Anything at all to say?